team. We have a very special guest, Shane Lowe from our friends of Supersense. Now, we've talked about Supersense before with Emery. I think maybe sometime last year, and I am so delighted that we have our friend Shane Lowe here, who is going to be talking to us about the new things happening in the land of Supersense and some new apps that probably not on Android yet, but we'll talk about that all the same anyway. So I
Thank you
am
so
here,
much, man.
with Shane. Hey, Shane, you want to tell our friends, our listeners, who you are? We're excited that you've joined the Supersense team. You've got that young blood in there, man, and you're all fired up.
This is young blood. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I started. This is my 14th month on the Supersense team. It's really cool to be here for a long extended period of time. The company has grown. When I joined, I was if I remember right, I was the sixth person to join the team, and the fourth person in the U.S. And from there, now we're at like 15 people, 18 people, something like that.
Wow.
So this team has really grown exponentially in the last year. So thank you so much for all the support. I'm already really excited for this show. It's just so welcoming here. There's just a great atmosphere. Thank you so much for having me here.
Well, thank you. And I'm Warren. Hey, Dennis, we got Dennis here.
Hello there, everybody. Hi, Shane. Thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure.
What's up, man? How are you? Thanks
All right,
for having me.
How are you?
Doing well, doing well.
So tell us for those that don't know, what is Supersense and what platforms is it available on?
Absolutely. So Supersense is available on Android and iOS. You can find it on the Play Store or the App Store. Search for Supersense, one word, AI. So Supersense AI, 2 words total. And Supersense is designed to be the best products that we can make based on user feedback. So it started as an exploration app. You could use the camera to find objects in your area. You could pan it around. It would report. Now it reports over 600 objects. So staircases, people, chairs, doorways, all of that stuff. You can use the find feature, which lets you look for a specific category of things. And then people said, I need something I can rely on to scan text and barcodes and banknotes. And so we started adding those features. And that's where the Supersense is today, with our smart scanner that lets you scan the documents, the quick text, the banknotes, the barcodes, and objects all automatically. You can import 400-page PDFs in there now, and it'll scan it in less than 2 minutes. You can import photos in there. There's read history, so you can see what you've scanned before. All kinds of different things to make Supersense the simplest experience, but also the best experience that you could possibly have.
Okay. So, you got Envision AI, you've got Seeing AI. Supersense, correct me if I'm wrong, does have some paid features, right?
Yeah. So the 2 features that are free, 3 features that are free in Supersense: the quick read, the importer for PDFs and photos, and the read history. Those are free. Otherwise, you have to pay to get access to the document reader, the multi-page document reader, find and explore, currency, barcodes, all that stuff.
So with Lookout on Android, can look at those barcodes. Seeing AI does barcodes, does other scanning. Why should people pay for Supersense? What sets you apart from the competition?
Absolutely. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Lookout. I've always heard really great things about Lookout. They're doing great things. That's a thing that we can support. A lot of people will say, your competitors, Envision and Seeing AI, and these guys, we're in this for the community. So we don't really look at anyone necessarily as our competitors. We're really transparent as a company. We share a lot of our research. We share what we're doing. And so I do want to make that clear that we're in this for the community. We're a part of the community. I'm blind myself. That's what the priority is. Now, that being said, we always want to make the best product that we can, and everything that we're doing is based on user feedback. So from my experience, I'm not even going to throw you a sales pitch right now. I'm just going to tell you my experience as a blind consumer with Supersense. I've always had the best accuracy with our document reader. At most, I get 1-2 errors per page. Usually it's completely clear. It's the most efficient for me. I'm able to do a lot without hitting many buttons, using many controls. The accuracy overall is very good. It scans barcodes quickly and gives me a lot of information. The database covers more products in my pantry than any other app that I've tried. I'll scan a lot of barcodes with other apps and get unrecognized or not found or something like that. And I get that a lot less frequently with Supersense. One of the things that we're working on now, by the way, is being able to identify your own barcodes if you've scanned something that Supersense doesn't recognize. It also has the Explore and Find features built in that you don't see on any of the other apps. The PDF importer works a lot faster. We have the photo importer. I've seen no other app with read history where you're able to access anything that you've scanned in that session with Supersense, and you can share all of that as well. So you can share anything, barcodes, for example. You can share the info off of a barcode. If you want to share nutrition facts with someone or ingredients or anything like that, you can, of course, share your documents. You can put them on the cloud. You can export them as PDFs. You can text them. You can email them. You can click on contact info from directly within the document. You can copy individual paragraphs. So it's really designed to be efficient. What's funny is, I said all of those words. The most conclusive answer that I can give you, though, as a person, as a blind consumer, a blind person that buys stuff and is involved in the business world, just as a conscious person of what I buy, the most important thing that I care about that drew me to Supersense, both Mediate the company and Supersense, is that the company actually listens to people. We care what you have to say. That's what drives our development. So any change that you want to see, all of that stuff is we put it in by popular demand to help people. So we're actually going to hear what you have to say. That's really the most important thing to me about Supersense.
Now, with the going away of the ID barcode scanner, one thing that I have not found in any of these apps is the ability, for example, to get cooking time. Is that something that instructions for a barcode that, that's the one big thing the ID Mate has over other products? And I mean, let's face it, they're $1,400. They're no longer offering payment plans if you can even get one. So it's going to be out of a lot of people's price range. Is that something you thought of adding?
Absolutely. We already have research on that, actually. We're working on research so that we're able to pull cooking directions based on barcodes. That's in the works.
Are you going to allow people to submit products for the database so that the database can be updated?
Yeah, of course. That's what I was mentioning earlier, being able to label barcodes that are unrecognized.
All right,
you're able to...
Let me rephrase that. If I have, say, an off-brand pizza, yes, I could label it for myself, but will anybody be able to grab that database entry that I make?
That depends. It's possible, but we have to figure out a way to filter those. It's important that we don't have incorrect info in that database. And nobody's going to do that intentionally. But if you have a can of peaches, for example, and it doesn't recognize the barcode, and it looks like, how some canned food is, you can differentiate it, and it looks like it's a can of carrots. So you're like, well, this is carrots, and you label it as carrots, and then people in the future are going to see it as carrots. That's problematic. So we have to have a way to filter through those. That's the system that we're still working on figuring out how we want to handle. But it's absolutely a possibility. It's definitely something that we want to do because it makes everyone's lives easier. It expands the database.
That is really nice, Shane, because it really makes sense. because if what I submit, I thought maybe it's a can of peaches, and it turns out to be a can of carrots. And then I upload that to the database, and Dennis comes along and thinks he's getting a can of peaches while he's actually getting a can of carrots. Then it actually creates a problem. Now, so
Yeah, absolutely.
I see why you need to be go a little bit cautious here to be sure
I would
that
think that
we're
there would
putting
be
out the right
some way,
product.
though, that you could filter that somehow.
Sure, of
Question
course.
is how.
There's definitely a way, but we have to dedicate, we have to figure out who's going through those entries to filter it. How are we going to put that into the schedule that we already have? How we have to shift around some work processes to make that happen. So that's what we're working on. After we finish creating the feature on the technical end, then we go to the logistics of it. So it's definitely in the works.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
And
now
what
going back to Supersense and talking about, well, of course, we're talking about Supersense. Now I want to go back to, its earlier days when we were testing this. Of course, Shen, you mentioned, all the explore. It used to be the explore this and explore that. And I remember those days. And it's so nice to watch it grow over the period of time, adding this and adding that. And I think one of the things that came to mind was, people wanted the ability to recognize text. And you mentioned something earlier about, or was it Dennis, or mentioned something about several other apps, similar apps. Now, frankly, to me, I think it makes sense that we have several of these things, because the more we have of these things, the better each app gets better and better. Because when there's competition,
Sure.
I believe that we get better products. So for me, I'm truly excited that we have on the Android side, we got the Lookouts, we got the Supersense, Speak, ID, and the list goes on.
Absolutely.
So I really like that idea that we have this, because I think what it does is it pushes the developers to do things that the others are not doing. So I'm excited. As a blind person, as a user, I think this only helps make things better for all of us.
I completely agree. Absolutely. That's something that we all benefit from. When we make a feature and someone else creates that feature, they may have a tweak on that feature that's a really good idea. That and vice versa. And so, there are these little changes that can be made that ultimately lead to better products. So really everyone's working toward the same goal. At least I hope so. It's the goal that we're working toward, which is making things better for us, the community, the people who are
yeah,
using the
and that's
apps.
the word I like. The word that you used was the community. And frankly, for me as a blind person, when I think about all these things, I'm not looking out for me as an individual. Rather, I'm thinking of the community, just like you said, Shane. And to me, that is the most important thing when we're doing things of this nature. We're helping the blind community. There are
Yeah,
a lot of us that live alone don't have the advantage of having someone sighted with them. And so when we have things of this nature, it's a win-win situation in the life of a
of
blind
course.
person. Yeah,
Bringing up the independence. That's always good.
exactly, Mundo. So there's another app that you guys have on the iOS. I call it the Fruitvale, that we don't have yet. And let's kind of segue into that a little bit, and that would be the Super
Sure.
LIDAR. And you want to give our listeners a little overview of the Super LIDAR, Shane?
Yeah, absolutely. Super LIDAR, the goal of Super LIDAR is to change the way that we as blind people get information about our environment. It's going to enhance the way that we do that. I will start by saying nothing replaces the cane, nothing replaces the guide dog, nothing replaces your own senses. However, we can augment those things. And so Supersense starts out with this explore feature that identifies objects. We had a lot of people talking to us about, there's this buzz, Apple's creating LiDAR sensors for the latest iPhones, the 12 Pros, the iPad Pros. And so we got really excited about this. There was a lot of potential for it. And so we started developing Super LiDAR as soon as it was possible. And what Super LiDAR does, right now it's a prototype. Right now it's really simple, because what we want to do is get feedback from the users. We want you guys, the community, I say you guys, I don't include myself because I don't have a LIDAR compatible device. I'm still living in the stone ages of the iPhone 7.
That's okay.
Yeah, man. In my world, it's all iPhone 7s. It's all 7s, Windows 7s, iPhone 7. It's
Hey, you must like the number 7, Shane. That's a
the
good
number 7. Yeah, that's what it's not even about technology anymore. It's about 7s. So actually, that's kind of a lie. I do have one machine on Windows 10 over here. Anyway, so we want users to drive this process. We want the features that you want to see to be the ones implemented first, because this is how we're going to navigate. What Super LiDAR does currently is the field of view. I don't know if you know this, but the field of view with the cameras on the iPhone 12 Pro, 12 Pro Max, and the iPad Pro is amazing. It can see about 4 feet off to either side of you, up by your head, higher than your head, and down where, the cane or the guide dog would
Somewhere
be.
down
And
in
this
the
is,
hole toward going down toward China. You dig a hole, you fall into China, right?
Yeah, it can see all the way through the planet down into the southern hemisphere. It's amazing. It's legendary technology. Yes. I was getting obstacles in Australia the other day. And no. So the field of view is really fantastic. And so what I do is I just have it pointing out at about my chest level, and it's able to see this window of all around me, all around the area in front of me. And so it's designed to detect obstacles in that area. So if the area is completely open, you'll just get some beeps. And then if it sees an object far away, as far as I remember, it can see about 30 feet out. So if it sees an object far away, it'll play a high pitch. And then as you get closer, the pitch will get lower until if you're within 4 feet of that object, the phone will vibrate in your hand. You can just with the iPad Pro as well. And then we're working on implementing the Supersense object recognition stuff. So right now it'll tell you if it sees a person. And of course, in the times of this COVID madness, it will tell you if that person is wearing a mask. And we're working on implementing things like trash cans, mailboxes, vehicles, doorways, stairs, all that stuff.
So in other words, it makes those sounds just like what do we have on Android? It does that, the voice. Have you've played with the voice, right, Shane?
No, I haven't actually. I heard about it recently, and it sounds really fascinating, but I haven't played with it myself.
Now, so the Super LiDAR, is that a paid app, or is it something that is, since a prototype, is it free now for like a beta testing till everything is kind of ironed out, and then maybe we'll look into payment models and things like that, or subscription models?
It's completely free right now. I don't know how the payment, is going to change. We want to keep it free for as long as possible, because the cheaper it is, the more people can use it, and so free is the best option. But it depends.
I like the sound of free. I like that
Yeah,
sound.
absolutely. It really warms my heart. It really gives me a good feeling.
It does
in my
give us a
soul.
good feeling. Yeah.
To say that we have a free app, because we want people to use it. We understand that you spent enough money on your 12 Pro or your iPad Pro or whatever LiDAR capable device you're using. So we want it to be easy to download. It's the same reason that Supersense is a paid app. If we have to charge for Super LiDAR, it's the same reason that we have to charge for Supersense. It's that we have to continue our research. We have to be able to fund what we're doing to better the community. And also, every now and then I do enjoy being able to, buy dinner or groceries or pay the bills. So, it's a personal flaw of mine, so I do like being able to support myself. So, and the rest of my colleagues agree. So,
well, that totally makes sense. I think everyone wants to be able to support themselves. Now let's talk about, I know this is now only on iOS, and hey, do you think maybe in a wild, wild world, in a wild dream, maybe somehow down the road, some knucklehead like me would say, hey guys, would we look into bringing this thing into Android? And you guys got started on Android. You were our baby. We were your babies. Now,
Yeah, man.
would you guys come on, bring this baby to us?
Well, knuckleheads. We
Yeah.
We'd really love to do that. I really would. It makes so much sense. We have this great connection with the Android community. The majority of our users are Android users, actually, and so we have so much love for the Android community. They're the first. You guys are the first people who gave us a shot and helped us build up our user base. So we have a lot of loyalty and dedication to you guys. The problem is, and this is really unfortunate because there's nothing that we can do about it. The problem with Super LiDAR on Android is that there's not so much consistency. The benefit, sometimes it's the drawback, but in this case, it's the benefit of iOS, is that there's consistency. There's a stable platform. You know what's going to come. We are almost positive that all future iPhones are going to be equipped with LiDAR sensors. So it makes sense to develop Super LiDAR while this is innovative, because we want to take advantage of that. We want to change the way that people are able to navigate, and we want that to have a long life. We want you to be able to use that for the rest of your life and your future generations to be able to use it. We really want a product that's going to last. We don't have that guarantee on Android. You see cases where I think it might have been one of the Pixel devices. It might have been a Samsung device. They had the LiDAR. Sorry, not LiDAR.
It was
laser.
solely, solely on Pixel 4. I have it here, and then they dropped that, with the Pixel 5. So
yes, yeah. Exactly. And so there's nothing for us to rely on there.
Consistency, and that's the problem. You don't want to sink 50 or 60 or 100 grand into development, and
the phone's not supporting
the
it.
features here today,
of course,
and next year it's gone. And
yeah,
sadly, it makes perfect sense. I get it.
Yeah,
it's really unfortunate.
I'm still an optimist, though. I think that somehow.
Me too. I would love it. If they all get on board, if LiDAR sensors become as standard as your camera, as standard as the stereo microphones that we're getting now, then it'll happen. There's no reason not to develop Super LiDAR for Android, as long as we have that stability. If Super LiDAR, if we believed that the LiDAR sensors would only be on the 12 Pro and the iPad Pro, and then the future iPhones wouldn't have LiDAR anymore, we most likely wouldn't have developed Super LiDAR for iOS either, because there's no consistency. So, but that's if we can do it, if there is a realm, if there is a possibility that we can rely on to do it, then we'd love to. It'd be great.
Because I'm looking at some of the camera technologies, with the Samsung phones and things like that. I think maybe you guys should give it a second look. Even if all we have is on Samsung devices, at least we know that it's there on Android. So let's don't throw it all the way out yet, Shane. I'm thinking that you.
Of course.
Being there.
Of course.
You're gonna
listen. The more devices that use the same technology, the more likely it is. That's absolutely, because seriously, it would be amazing to be able to put this on Android. It would be fantastic. I'd love to do that.
That would be so nice.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, this has been so great. Dennis, you have any comments about that before I jump back to Supersense?
Again, I completely get where Supersense is coming from. It's about the consistency. It would be nice to see it on Android, but you're limited by the power of Android right now, and the fact that that's one of the downsides of Android is that it is so fragmented.
But it is its strength too. One of the strengths of Android. Don't forget.
Oh yeah,
that's the
I completely agree.
Oh, believe me,
I love that about Android.
It has the fact that it's open source has its strengths, but in a case like this, that also is a downside.
Yes, of course, there will always be downsides to everything.
Hopefully, hopefully they get on board and say, okay, we're going to all develop a standard camera that's going to have a LIDAR equivalent sensor or LIDAR technology, and they all implement it. I suspect that they implement it for 2 or 3 years and show that it's going to be a here to stay. I suspect we will see LIDAR for Supersense, with Supersense LIDAR for Android.
Absolutely.
Of
course. There's no reason not to at that point.
I'm hopeful because
I completely get where you're coming from as a developer. You don't want to, take the Pixel 4. It was there. Had it been the Pixel 5, you probably would have went ahead with development because it was okay. It's here.
Yeah, it's a lot more likely that way. Of course,
there would have been a continuation. But Google dropped that. With the Pixel 5. But like I said, though, I think something like Samsung with their new technology, camera technology, probably I think it's something comparable. And Samsung's always copying. Well, they both copy each other anyway. So who knows?
Maybe Apple copies Android too. Take the
Samsung will copy
of course
the LIDAR.
The app library.
Oh yeah, it's a give and take. Everybody's copying each other here.
Yeah, because LIDAR is an old technology. It's something that's been there for a long time, and
since the '60s.
Yeah,
LIDAR is old.
Anyone can use it if they so choose to, and so we're looking forward to seeing things of this nature, come to Android, and hopefully, down the road, maybe in a couple of years, who knows? But really, it's something that would be kind of.
Oh, I agree with being a game changer, and the more platforms that's available on, the better. Now, I know you had a sale back in December, Shane. Are there any plans to have another one for those that missed it, couldn't take advantage of it in December?
Absolutely. That sale, I want to give a personal thanks to anyone who took advantage of the Supersense sale that we had in December. That was an incredible success because of you guys. So thank you so much for trusting us and supporting us. Really, really genuinely, sincerely grateful for that. The more people like you that subscribe, the more people that show an interest and prove to us that that Supersense has value, the more we're going to put into it. So absolutely, we're planning another sale. I could tell you'll see one coming soon in the next couple of months. I don't have dates yet, unfortunately. But you'll be hearing something. You'll be hearing from us.
Okay. And will the same pricing structure be offered as far as like for the lifetime?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably. It might be different, but most likely it'll be the same. We haven't, as I say, we're still planning. We're still in the stages of, we're still happy, because we had our projections, we had our ideas, about how the sale would go. It was 10 times our projections. It was incredible.
Now that's a good news, because to be honest with you, the cheaper it is, or the more frequently you guys have this type of sales, the more stuff you put into hands of people, because a lot of people want the app, or but then it's sometimes kind of get.
And a lot of people want the lifetime, but just can't afford the $100. But having it at 50% off,
$200. Yeah. What's the regular price? Is it $199 or $200 for a lifetime?
No, 100. It's $99.99 for the lifetime.
Oh, that's not on sale though?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a straight price.
Okay. So that's even a little bit cheaper than I thought, though.
You had it at 50% off for the lifetime, and that's a great deal. I just unfortunately wasn't able to take advantage of it, but I definitely do want to. Now, what about those that have privacy concerns about their data? Do you keep their data? Does it go anywhere? How does that work?
We don't keep anything that you scan. We don't know what you scan. We don't save it anywhere. So there's nothing that identifies you, because there's nothing there at all.
And
so
I think
you could scan.
It also works offline though, because I've tested it in an airplane mode, and it works. So if it works in airplane mode, this thing is not necessarily relying on the internet to recognize your text.
Yes, the document reader will send it up to the server for processing, and that's because our AI does a lot in document mode. Document mode is our most intelligent feature. It has smart guidance. It does a lot to clear that image up. So those go to our server, but there's no storing action that happens. We don't retain any of that data. It's processed and it's sent immediately back to your device.
Good. Well, good. Well, Shen, we want to thank you for coming. I know you're a student and don't want to take too much of your time here, my man. But like I said,
seriously, this is great. Thank you. I'm having a great time. If you have any other questions, I'm having a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
I want to sneak in great. One or two more questions that have popped into my brain.
Sure.
You had said it has a 400-page limit for the PDF. What if something's more than that? Are you planning to expand it? I wouldn't see why in the world you would need it, but maybe somebody wants to scan a book or something that's more
listen. I'm a high fantasy reader. I love my epic fantasy books. Shout out to my Brent Weeks readers out there, my Brandon Sanderson readers out there. I am very familiar with books in excess of 1,000 pages. We've tested with 400 pages. And we've had really quick, successful scans. So PDFs longer than that. I don't think that we limit them. I don't think Supersense won't scan them. It'll just take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Than that we usually get a 400-page scan in less than 2 minutes. If it's a 1,000-page book, it might take you 5 or 7 or 8 minutes.
And fine, now we want it down to the 2 minutes.
2 minutes is really good.
We're slacking. Come on.
Frankly, I've had other, similar apps that, you try to scan something and it's taking forever and it just times out or something like that. Now, if this thing could scan a 400-page thing in 2 minutes time, I think that's really, really good. That's really good.
Absolutely. Give it a try. If you have any problems with it, let me know. Same with any of our features. I can't stress this enough. Get in touch if you have any problems. I've heard that we don't have our request a call button available on Android. We're working on implementing that. So you can feel free to get in touch with me directly. My email address is Shane, SHANE at mediate.tech, SHANE at MEDIATE.TECH. Please feel free to send me an email if you need anything at all. I'd love to be in touch.
Good. Now, Dennis, you had another question.
The document mode that you had said about. Does that tell people, for example, you said it gives them guidance. So will that tell them move your camera to the left? Will that tell them when it's aligned properly? And can it work with some of the scan stands that are out there?
Yes to both of those. It does work well with scan stands. I've had several people test with several different scans, all with really, really great results. And yes to the guidance. So it gives you really simple directions, really easy to follow. We're actually working on I just put out the first draft of our new audio tutorial. I just sent it out to our marketing and product people to take a look at it, where I'm reviewing some of those guidance directions. And it's really quick now as well. So, it'll tell you, move your phone a little bit toward yourself, move your phone a little bit farther away from the document.
Yeah.
These different things. It's going to give you really simple directions to get the best picture possible.
Okay. Are there any scanning stands that you would recommend over another, either through personal experience or user feedback?
I've had no issues with any scan stand with Supersense. I haven't heard reports of any. So if you already have a scan stand, you should have no issues using that with Supersense. If you don't have one, there are a variety of them on Amazon. All you need really is, if you just want something cheap and portable, there are cardboard scanner stands that you can just fold out. They look like a box almost. You slide the paper into the bottom, and you have the top has a little hole, little square hole cut out for your phone's camera. And so you can just put your phone right on top and then slide the document into the stand. You could also, of course, go with, some more durable options but those cardboard ones they'll just run you about $12. They're pretty cheap. So good place to start experimenting.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We definitely do appreciate all the hard work you and your company do, and we appreciate your time. And we absolutely would love to have you on. When you know when that sale is, do get back in touch with us so we can have you on prior to the sale so you can announce to everybody that there is another sale, and we'll be looking
Hey,
for
Shane,
that.
that's a good
Absolutely.
idea. How about
It would be
I'll keep
my
in
pleasure.
touch, and when that is coming up, we want to give people the heads up, so that they will jump on it.
I would love to do
Absolutely.
that.
This
I would
is a
love
very
to come on
worthwhile product.
and talk about that. It would be an honor.
Something that I definitely am interested in seeing where it goes. I have both devices, and it, like I said, it's a good all around product, and it is accessible,
It is.
and it's
It is
extremely accurate.
Thank you so much for
Thank
the
you
compliments.
so
Really
much.
appreciate that. This has been so much fun. I love the atmosphere here. You guys, you ask good questions, but it's just also incredibly welcoming. So thank you guys very, very much. I'm so excited to be here. Please keep in touch. I would love to talk to you more in the future
I will.
about
And
any updates.
one more curveball to throw at you before you go.
Hit me. What do you got?
Dennis is not gonna let you go, Shane.
He's not letting up. It's good. It's good. Bring it.
Is there a trial of Supersense? I don't know why I didn't think to ask that from the
Oh
beginning.
yeah.
Yeah, 7
There's a
days.
trial.
You
Yeah,
can
there's
try
some
everything for
trial.
7 days before it asks for payment.
Now, there was something I was going to ask, Shane, and I forgot. We got to talking. Now, I don't remember. Does it do handwritten material? I'm not sure.
Yes,
It does. Okay.
it does.
Because I
You know,
think
the
that
quality
was
is
one
going to
of the
vary
things. Yeah, one of the things
if the
that I
handwriting
suggested
isn't
to Emmer.
accurate.
Yeah.
But if the handwriting isn't great quality, of course the scan won't be as good quality.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it can handle handwriting. It does pretty well. We're always making improvements to those kind of things as we come up with them. Always trying to make those things better. So, you can always expect improvement in areas like handwriting.
Will people dig out them birthday cards and if you
Yeah.
celebrated Christmas
Yeah,
cards
take a look.
that
You can
get, postcards?
you can see what people were writing about you in the 90s.
Yeah.
Take a look.
Or like my wife liking to, write
Oh,
her
yeah.
journal, and I grabbed it one time and I was scanning it. She's like, you're gonna scan my my journal and put it on the internet. I said, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm just testing. Oh, but
I love it.
It makes sense that we have a couple apps that do handwritten material, Supersense and Envision AI. Because to me, sometimes a blind student, maybe hey, you could say to the teacher, could I catch a shot of that whiteboard or whatever board? I want to be able to catch the notes that you've written out there. So it just makes it so nice that we'll be able to have something like that to use. So I really like that.
Absolutely.
Idea. Yeah.
Of course.
Well,
Definitely.
Shane, thank you so much. We're not going to take your time any more than what we have.
Thank you so much. I'm having a ton of fun. I'm having a great time.
But
don't even worry about it.
I believe that though we've touched on some of the most important things, and especially on Android, because like I said, this is our baby and we are its babies, so
of course
we're so excited about Supersense. And regards to Emre and the entire team, you guys have been so wonderful, and I'm looking forward to
thank you so much.
A better relationship as we keep going together and looking into bringing more and more features.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your kindness.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Shane.